Well, hello, ladies. Welcome to the last class of the season of ESPN Wives and Future Wives. I hope that you all have enjoyed this semester. It's been a pleasure to just grow and learn in the Word together. I am excited tonight. We are going to be welcoming a special guest, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get started on just the preliminaries like we normally do. Okay, as you well know, you can stay connected with me on Facebook. Most of y'all are on my Facebook group, Her Irresistible Marriage. If you are not, you are missing out on a whole lot, child. So make sure you join. You can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. So we did the opening prayer. Smile, you're on candid camera. We're recording. We're going to be introducing Pastor Derek Barbie, and he's going to be doing Q&A just for a very short period of time because he has another engagement. We're going to do takeaways, and we're going to do a couple giveaways. So this is not going to be long because I got a 6:30 class. We're going to do the best we can, and we're going to go out with a bang. All right. So remember, this is the last session of the year, but please make sure you are on my email list. I will be sending out content. Next session will be in February. So make sure that you all plan accordingly. We will start the second week in February on Wednesday. So please be prepared. Just want to remind you, we have been studying the Bible this whole semester. We talked about the Bible, salvation, practical ways to study the Bible, faith you must have. You can read the Bible all day long, but if you don't have the faith to go with it, you are reading a story because you're not believing what you're reading and internalizing it to change the situation that you're dealing with. So we talked about the importance of faith. Without faith, you cannot please God. You cannot please him with tears. You cannot please him by begging him. You please him by faith. And we saw that with the woman with the issue of blood. She reached out in faith. She didn't think her way to healing. She stretched her way. She faithed her way to healing. You don't think your way to salvation. You confess. And that's what she did. You confess. Faith is confessing what God says. Confessing, coming into agreement with what he has already said has happened. Then we talked about the power of prayer and fasting. We can ready to go into consecration in January, y'all. Those of us who are at Calvary. And I would suggest going on a fast. A lot of things can be broken down when you fast and pray. You can see the move of God. And it's not that you're trying to get God to change. It ain't him. It's you that needs to be in position to hear from him. So tonight we're going to be doing Q&A. And we have our wonderful Pastor Derek Barbie in the house. And Derek, Pastor Barbie, we want to thank you for being here with us tonight. And I am
my pleasure.
It's an honor. Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. Well, just a little bit about Pastor Derek Barbie. Pastor Barbie is a pastor at our church, Calvary Revival Church. I call him our Connect Group pastor. I know he does so much more than just Connect Groups, but he is doing such a fine job at Calvary. It's like, man, that is just his baby right there because he's making everything go smooth. But Pastor Barbie is from Flint, Michigan. He is a redunculous fan of the University of Michigan. Go Blue. He has a therapist wife, Miss Tracy Barbie, and a lovely pre-med major daughter, Serenity, and they have resided in Hampton Roads since 2012. He also has two other adult children, Derek and Danielle, and two relatively new grandchildren, Jazara and Astro. Was that right? Jazara. Okay. All right. Thank you. And having lived in 4 different states, multiple cities, and traveled for missions and educational work outside the U.S., Derek has developed a broad, eclectic, diverse communal perspective on faith, race, culture, politics, and life. He loves to chop it up with anybody and swap ideas, insights, and informed opinions on any topic under the sun. He's done a ton of church, professional, and leadership type stuff over the last 2 decades and picked up a few degrees, licenses here and there, all of which would bore you to life if mentioned here. So let's not and say we did. He currently gives pastoral leadership to Calvary Revival Church small groups, aka Connect Groups, and pastoral care, aka partner care teams, and tries to flunk students as a professor at Wave Leadership College. Pastor Derek believes that he was created to educate, encourage, and equip others. Let us give a warm welcome to Pastor Derek Barbie. Thank you so much for being here, Pastor Barbie. So
thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. And we're not going to wait because he has an appointment, so he can't stay too long. But I want him to answer these questions that were sent in. So, what are 5 things our husbands love to hear from their wives, Pastor Barbie?
All right, y'all. So, all right, I'm gonna try just to say these things. If I need to like come back and stretch it out or explain some more, I'll be happy to do that. Or I could even write something, send it to Tiffany. She can send it to y'all.
Well, you can come back. Come back in February. Come back in 2023. You can come back.
All right. So, all right. So I'm gonna try to get through these. So, okay. So 5 things husbands love to hear from their wives. And yeah, so I've been married for 30. My wife Tracy and I celebrated our 30-year anniversary in August of this year. We dated for 2 years. So I say all that to say I got a little bit of skin in the game. So I'm not talking from some ivory tower somewhere. And our marriage is not perfect at all, far from it. So I'm not talking from some place of oh, you got it all together. I do not. Okay, so here's the first thing. You look good today, baby. You look good today. Men love to hear from their wives that they look good. Number 2, I respect who you are. One of a man's biggest needs is just to know that he is respected, particularly by his wife, who probably knows him better than anybody else. Third thing, I want you. Now, there's a couple different ways you could go with "I want you." Obviously, I think the low-hanging fruit is like sex. Like your husband would love to hear like that he is desired. From my vantage point, from my 30 plus years, men tend to be the initiator a lot of times, the aggressor, the one that's asking for sex. Can we do it? Can we, men would love to be pursued as well. So I want you. And then the other side of I want you is as opposed to I need you. There's a big difference between I need you and I want you. And I want to say this particularly to y'all women, like y'all don't need anybody. I don't need anybody. Like God gives us everything that we need. It's in here. But what you want from your spouse is to say, like, I want you. I want what you add to me. I want what you bring to the table. I want whatever. And I think a lot of times in our relationships, we get in these really kind of unhealthy codependent places where it's a need thing. And that it's wrong for a lot of reasons, but the simplest of reasons is that who we are should never be so wrapped up in another person to where we need another person to feel complete or feel whole. Because again, God's put that in us, and our spouses complement. Our spouses, they add, and that's any relationship. Our friends do that, our coworkers, all that. All the relationships in our life. Obviously, the spouse relationship is kind of at the top of the food chain, probably right there with your parents and your children. But all relationships should add. It should never kind of devolve into these codependent things, particularly in a marriage, because that's when things can really go south. Oh man, my computer just hold on. I got to hold on, y'all.
That's all right. So ladies, as he's doing that, and once you get back on, we'll stop, Pastor Barbie. But what are your thoughts on some of these comments?
Yeah, what he said about not needing a man and wanting him, that there is a difference. And Eric told me when we were dating, when I said to him, it's like, I'm choosing to have you in my life. It's not like you're a necessity for me, you're a want for me. And he said that was one of the things that kind of, really, that he was really attracted to me for that reason, that I wasn't, he was not, it's not like I would fall apart if he weren't in my world. So, and he said he really appreciated and valued that in me.
That's good, because the flip side of that is, I'm gonna put our dirty laundry out there too. a lot of us are insecure and fragile. And we try to act like we're not, but we are. And a lot of men wouldn't be able to take hearing that. Like, what do you mean you don't need me? Like, you could do without, like, but that's really what you want. Like, that's what you want in a spouse. That's what you want in relationships with friends. Like, because that allows everybody to be who they are supposed to be, and to be free, and not to be caught up in fakery and bondage and all that kind of stuff. So okay, see, I'm already stuck. So you look good today, baby. I respect who you are. I want you. At least two sides of that, probably more. Great job, honey. Number 4, great job. Words of affirmation. And also, obviously, these work both ways, but the question was asked to me on behalf of husbands. So we talking about husbands. Great job, honey. Every now and then, just letting him know whatever it is, like, that was, you did that well, you did that good. That goes a long way in a man's gas tank, because believe it or not, he doesn't hear that a lot out in the street, at work, and all that. I can't tell you off the top of my head the last time I remember somebody intentionally saying to me, like, hey, you did a good job on this, that, or other. It's just kind of expected that you do it. In fact, Tiffany, thank you, because when you said, like, you doing a good job, great job with connect groups, like, I haven't heard that in a long time. Like, I almost wanted to say, you sure about that? Because, like, I ain't heard that in a long time. So thank you, Tiffany. What's on your mind right now? That's the last one, number 5. What's on your mind right now? And I'm speaking in generalities, because all people are different, all men are different. But generally speaking, we don't tend to kind of openly share what's going on in our mind as freely as most women do, particularly our wives. So asking a man, sometimes asking your husband, your brother, your son, whoever, like, hey, what you thinking about right now? Like, where's your head at? Like, what's happening? Like, where are you emotionally? Like, how's your mental health? Like, those kind of questions, because guys ain't generally just gonna drop that on you. But once you open it up, you probably won't be able to get them to be quiet. And it established some real healthy habits. If y'all get used to talking to each other on those levels. Again, both ways, of course. So that's the 5 things. The second question I got was, what are some ways to improve your marriage immediately? Now, I'm gonna emphasize that word immediately. So these, because there's immediate ways, and then there's kind of longer term ways. So I'm gonna list a few things that, in my humble opinion, like, they're quick fixes, things you can immediately do, but these are not necessarily the long-term solutions all the time. So here's the first thing: improve your marriage immediately. Tell each other the good things about your marriage and about each other. Talk about those things. Like, what are the things that are really good about our marriage? What do you love about your marriage? What do I love about our marriage? Like, talk about those things. And generally that's going to kind of lead into saying, what are some of the good things about each one of you as individuals in that marriage? But immediate way to improve is to get you to focus on the positive. So start talking about the things that are right in your marriage, the things that are good, the things that make both of you smile and laugh and have fun, which leads me into my second thing. Watch Dave Chappelle, watch a comedy special, do something to laugh. Scripture says it's like a medicine, and it is. Like, it can heal a lot of other stuff if y'all just find something to laugh at, even if it's at each other, like y'all doing something stupid, but find something to laugh at with each other. Here's another one. The quickest way to improve your marriage is to improve you. So whoever sent me that question, this is targeted directly to you. how do you immediately improve your marriage? Start improving yourself. Don't worry about trying to improve your husband. And he doesn't need to worry about trying to improve you. The best way, and this is something that I have recently and started to learn 30 years into my own marriage, that the best thing I can do to help make my marriage better is to find ways to make me better, because a better me is automatically going to make my marriage better. A better Derek is automatically going to be better with Tracy, and a better Derek and Tracy is automatically going to make our marriage better, and everything else that we do, separate and apart, better. And so that is something that, particularly because here's what I found in 30 years of marriage and probably 20 years of counseling couples. Most times couples sit down together in counseling and they point the finger at each other. But in reality, we should be looking in the mirror first and foremost. Our biggest problem is us, not our spouse. And I, again, I'm not speaking generalities, because there's always exceptions to the rule and stuff. Like, I'm not talking about like abusive situations and things like that. But anything outside of that, generally, we're really talking about our own issues a lot of times that we try to put on our spouse, or issues we have brought into our marriage that often come from where we come from our marriage. Our family of origin. If we had a previous marriage, you brought some baggage, previous relationships. We all bring baggage, whether it was a marriage or not. We all bring baggage from that stuff, skeletons from the closet. We bring all that stuff. And most times it's what we're pointing the finger out. We should really be pointing the finger in. And so therapy is important. Again, that's not an immediate fix. That's a long term. But there's plenty of get a counselor type things that we can do to help ourselves get better. Like, a simple thing is just to start to think positive about your marriage. That's another way to immediately improve your marriage, is to immediately change the way you view your marriage, change the words that come out of your mouth about your marriage, change what's in your heart about your marriage, your husband. That's a way to immediately improve the marriage, simply by changing you. And you and I, we all know this. At the end of the day, the only person that we can change is us. I can't change Tracy. I do not have the keys to Tracy Barton. She does. And then God's got the master set. I don't have those. The only keys that I really have are to me. And if I want the things around me to be better, it usually means that I have to really look at myself and do some hard work at making me better. And oftentimes then the situation may not ever change, but the way I view it, the way I deal with it, how I speak about it or speak to the person, all that stuff does change. So those are some immediate quick fixes. Anybody got any feedback? And I don't have really time to do it tonight, but I do love to disagree and debate and go back and forth, and that's healthy. So please don't think that you got to agree with everything I'm saying. I would love for you to disagree with some of it, even though we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about. But I can come back. Tiffany said so. So anybody got any feedback on before I move on real quick? I got about
That's
10,
what I tell
12 minutes to
everybody.
get through these other three questions.
That's what I tell everybody. You can't change him. It's the marriage power rule. 75%
Yes.
might be him, but you focus on the 25%. So that's exactly what I told everybody on this call.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Amen.
yeah.
All right. All right. Well, okay. So let me move on to this. I'll move on to question number 3 here. Let's see. And that is, one more thing on how to immediately improve your marriage. Improve your marriage. Have sex. That immediately makes things better. immediately makes things better.
Often.
And I got to throw this one in here. Pray, praying with each other. And here's the thing, like that's kind of the cliche thing to say because church and Christians and all that. And here I found for Tracy and I, like people used to say that all the time. We all need to pray together and pray together. And we tried that the way they said do it, and it just wasn't working for us. Like it didn't feel right. It didn't fit. Oh, so okay, Tiffany, I'm not the only one. So we was feeling bad and convicted, like what's wrong with us? Why we can't pray? And then finally we was just like we gave ourselves permission to be us in our own marriage. Like, okay, so what does that look like for you and I, Trey? Like Trey, what does that look like for us to pray together? And so we came up with our own kind of creative takes on that. I don't have time to get into it, but I'm saying to y'all, so praying together most definitely does make an immediate impact, but not on the spouse, on you. It changes your heart. It changes your mindset. That's what happened to me. And that's what happened to Tracy. And then other things begin to change because we changed. And so that's a wonderful thing to do. And it is an immediate thing you can do, but don't fall in the trap of trying to do it one way or trying to do it the way somebody tells you to do it. You and your spouse need to hash that thing out and say, well, what does that look like for us? What is prayer and a prayer life for us as a couple? What does that look like? And be free to tailor it to y'all personalities, to your schedule, to y'all comfort level and all of that. So, okay. So, number 3, when overwhelmed, how can I make sure my spouse knows that I have his best intentions at heart, even if I just need a moment? So here's what I said. So share with your husband what needing a moment is really all about. Like what are you talking about? What does that mean? Like is that break time from the kids when you get home? Is that break time from him? Is that wind down? Is that what is that? Like, is that a glass of wine when you get home and laying on the couch? What is that? Because I'm speaking from a male perspective, like Tracy had to tell me that many years ago when we were in the throes of raising our kids and all that kind of stuff. And we had to have some conversations. She's like, honey, when I get home, I need about 30 minutes. And I need for those 30 minutes, like I know you just getting home from work too, but you generally have a lot more energy than I do. When I get home from work, I'm drained. So she was like, when you get home, can you just like leave me alone 30 minutes? Like, don't come talk to me. Don't ask me anything. If the kids are there, you take care of them, do whatever. I need 30 minutes. I'm going to just be in my room, getting my moment in, like whatever that is. And when she explained to me like what it was, and because I tend like, I'm thinking you functioning like I do. So when I come in from work, I'm like, all right, let's go. But when Tracy was coming home from work, she was like, whew, like Cal gotta take me away. Like I need rest. And that's not where I was. So she had to help me understand what that meant. And then again, talking about insecurity and men, I had to learn that, okay, that ain't no personal affront to me. It's not like she's saying she don't want to be around me or it's something about me, because I'm selfish. But all that came out in the dialogue. So that's what I'm saying. Sit your husband down, look him in the eye, make sure he looking you in the eye, make sure he listening and he ain't on his phone. Like explain to him what you're really talking about when you say, oh, I need a moment, because his perception of that may be completely different. And who knows what it looked like in his home with his mom or whatever, you don't know. Or if he never saw that with his mom, so he thinking you supposed to be like Superwoman like that too. Why you need a moment? What's wrong with you? So y'all need to have those conversations. Explain to him what needing a moment looks like for you, and why you need it, when you need it, and how long you need it. Tracy was very specific with me, so I had it, and I need that. So I need specifics and details so I know how to act. And so she was like, I need 30 minutes when I come in from the door. After 30 minutes, I'm gonna come out and then we'll pick up like we normally do. We can start talking. I'm start cooking, getting stuff ready for the kids. You can do their homework. We can do. But I need the 30 minutes when I get home every day. and that's what she got. So you know, to try it like that. Because here's the thing. You got to help yourself before you can help anybody else, including him, the kids, mom and them, whoever's staying with y'all, whatever's going on. You have to help yourself first. And I know this about women, generally speaking, and Black women in particular. Y'all are not really used to putting yourself first. Sometimes you feel bad about it, guilty. Some of that can come from us as your spouse. Some of it comes from, again, how you was raised, what you saw your mom do, what society says you're supposed to be. But you have to put yourself first. You have to do it, even if nobody else is going to do it, including your husband. You have to put yourself first. And again, I'm speaking from somebody who had to learn that, who was not giving my wife space to take care of herself first and put herself in front of me. How's that gonna happen? I'm supposed to be your planet. You're supposed to orbit what you first. So I had to learn that. In fact, I'm still learning that. Like I said, we 30 years in and empty nesters. I'm still learning that. So, but you have to put yourself first, because it's like the oxygen mask on the airplane. Like they tell you, when them things drop, the first thing you got to do is put it on. Why? You have to put it on so you can have oxygen, so you can then help anybody else. And if you don't put on the oxygen, you're gonna pass out and die, and then you can't help anybody. So you have to take care of you. You have to make sure that you have the things that you need, so that you can take care of the people in your life that you want to take care of. I'm not even gonna say supposed to, that you want to take care of. Because that word overwhelmed is concerning to me. And again, we don't have time to get into that. I'm gonna let Tiffany tackle all that. But you have to take care of you. Okay, number 4, how do you minister with people who are at a different level in faith than you, newer believers? So I had to make a couple of assumptions here. And if I'm wrong in the assumption, then just stop me, because that'll change my whole answer. But the assumption I made was that we are talking about like serving on a ministry team with another person who is new in the faith. If that's not correct, then let me know. Then I won't say what I'm going to say, and then maybe somebody can explain it with what they meant. But that's how I interpreted that you're saying I'm serving in ministry with another person who's a new believer or a newer believer. And how do you do that? How do you serve in ministry with somebody who is at a different level of spiritual maturity? That's correct, I assume?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Joy said yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just read this one in the interest of time and keep my commentary out of it. So that's just another version of discipleship. Just because you're on a ministry team with another believer who happens to be a newer believer or a younger believer in the faith, that doesn't mean that we don't have a responsibility to help them to continue growing in their faith. In fact, it's been my experience that serving on a team in ministry has been one of the primary catalysts for my growing as a Christian. One of the things that's helped me to mature in my faith is serving in church ministry, big time. And so I'm saying to you, whoever this or these newer believers are that you're serving with on your ministry team, how do you do that? You look at them the same way you would as if this is a newer believer that you are discipling. Somebody who just got saved at church and has gotten attached to your family and comes over for dinner and asks you questions about God. Can you show me what this means in the word? And how do I grow as a Christian? Treat that person on your ministry team exactly the same as you would that person. And don't kind of look at them differently because they're on a ministry team. Because spiritual maturity and biological maturity, a lot of times they don't align. They don't go together. So you can be 40 years old biologically, but 15 or 20 in your faith, 15 or 20 spiritually, if that makes sense. And because we are visual human beings, we tend to judge people from what we see. we get in, particularly in ministry, we can get into things in ministry, serving with people, and we make a lot of assumptions because of how old they may be, or the kind of car they drive, or the house they live in, or what they do for a living. And we think, well, they probably pretty mature, so even though they just got saved, they should know this, or they should know that this is how you do this, and they don't know that. They don't know that. And so treat that person, no matter how old they are, where they come from, what they drive, what they do for a living. Treat that person like a new believer that you're discipling, just like you would a person who that happened in church or at work. Somebody just got saved. They see you walk around with the Bible all the time, so they always talking to you in the lunchroom and all that kind of stuff. Treat that person on your ministry team the exact same way. Disciple them the same way you would as if they didn't serve on your team, but they were just a new Christian that was in your life, or a newer Christian. Does that make sense? That makes sense. If it doesn't, say something, please. I can
Joyce,
clarify. Or
does that make sense, Joyce? Hello? I'm going to assume yes, because I
that
ain't
means
here.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Normally she talks, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I know your time is short. So
Okay.
if she don't have clarity, she can email me.
Yeah, please do. And yeah, anybody, you can feel free to email me directly as well. Tiffany, you can share my CRC email address and phone number.
Okay.
If anybody wants to reach out to me independently, feel free. Okay, last one. I've been married for 50 years. How do you teach an old dog new tricks? My husband is semi-retired, so he goes to work when he feels like it. It has nothing to do with his health. Most of the time he feels okay. He is more physically able than I am. I have to ask him to do many things. He does not initiate anything. How can I get him to help me around the house? All right. So first thing I want to do is congratulate you and say wow to being married to any one person for 50 years. I'm 53, so you've been married almost longer than I've been alive, and that is worth congratulations and thanks and appreciation. So God bless you and your husband. So now, I'm gonna read from my page. I'm gonna stay on the page, Reverend, and so I can get out of here. So okay, the two things. Let me the first thing is this. In your question, you say he does not initiate anything. Now, I'm not calling you a liar, but I find that hard to believe. Anything in 50 years of marriage, he's never initiated anything. Anytime we deal in absolutes, we get in trouble. Anytime we tell our spouse or any human being, you never do this, or you always do that, we're probably not telling the truth, because there's always that one time back in 1972, and that's the time they're gonna bring to you, and then you got to eat all that. Oh yeah, because that happens to me with Tracy all the time. So this is how I know you got to stay away from absolutes. And the second reason why is because when you state an absolute, when you say you never or you always, it immediately puts a person on the defense. Immediately the shields go up, the gloves come out, we get in a defensive fight posture. Even if you wasn't planning on fighting, when somebody says you never or you always, it's time to fight. So it's human nature. So I'm gonna say that one thing that might help you in and of itself, just having a conversation with him. If you're saying that to him, that you never initiate anything, is probably putting him on the defense and then making it hard for y'all to even have a real conversation about the real issue. Because it ain't that he never initiate, which can't be true. But even if it was, that's not the real issue. So the second thing is this: you can't help him. You can't get him to help you around the house. And I don't want to be like. Let me finish what I'm saying. You can't get him to help you if he doesn't want to help you. Do whatever you can do for yourself. You said he doesn't get You don't get around as well as he does, but you do get around. So do whatever you can do for yourself. Empower yourself and ask other family members and friends to help you with whatever you can't do on your own. You can't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. And I'm not even saying he don't want to do it. Maybe something's going on in his life right now. And because honestly, I sense depression in there. I'm sensing there's some hint of depression. Things may be going on. He's semi-retired. Any type of retirement for men generally can be a challenge when we don't have a reason to get out of the bed and get out of the house and be productive every single day. That's why I know a lot of older men who struggle with that and had to intentionally find some things to do to be productive once they retire. And so there could be some depression there with that. Maybe he needs to work on intentionally staying active and having some stuff to do in this kind of semi-retirement life. That's just me. I could be totally off, but I would say this, ask him about his emotional and mental health. Back to that question I mentioned earlier, like what's going on in your brain right now? What do you think? Like you semi-retired, so you almost fully retired. Like, how is that working out? Like, do you still feel like valued, useful? Like, do you have things to do every day that keep your mind sharp and occupy you and fulfill you? Those kinds of questions. And I would recommend, like, if he says anything like, yeah, I am depressed or I'm struggling with this, and that's why I'm kind of moping around the house and not really helping you with stuff. I'm kind of stuck in. If he says anything like that, encourage him to go see a therapist. To talk and work through those things, because that's the only way that if that is what's happening, then he can't do it by himself. And if he's used to doing things by himself, he's probably thinking he can, but he can't. He needs some help, and he can't put that on you either because you can't help him. He needs to go to someone outside of your relationship who's trained and qualified and knows how to help him navigate that stuff. As I said earlier, you can only change you. Mother, you can only change you. I'm assuming you got to be way older than me. If you've been married 50 years, someone call you mother. Mother, you cannot change him. Now, I know you love me, loves you. You can't change him. That's above your pay grade. Like, that's God territory. So you can only change you. So that's why I go back and say, you can't get him to help you around the house, but you can help yourself as much as you can. And you can ask other people around you to help you pick up that slack. And then you can, kind of probe your husband and see if he needs somebody to help him pick up the slack, like a therapist. So that's all I got. That's all I got.
All right. Well, Pastor Barbie, thank you so much. I will be in touch with you to get you back on here. But ladies, let's give a hand to Pastor Barbie and Miss Tracy Barbie for letting her husband do this. And we thank you so much, sir. And I will send the email out. I'm gonna protect you. I ain't sending your phone number out. I'll send the email out. And when y'all can contact him, very approachable. We really love you, Pastor Barbie, and thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity, Tiffany, and thank y'all. Hopefully, hopefully y'all don't run home with your hair on fire and be like, "What was this dude talking about?" But hey, I'm giving you what I got. I'm giving you what I got. Y'all ask me these questions, so I hopefully it helped you. Hopefully it helped y'all.
Yeah, so you did. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. Tell Miss Barbie to say hello.
All right, I will. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. All right, ladies, I'm gonna tell you, we cannot do takeaways right now. I got another class, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give 2 giveaways away now. If you have received something from me in the last 6 weeks, 6 months, or you're gonna get something from me, you cannot participate. I'm gonna give y'all one of my books. I don't know which one yet. Top 12 mistakes married women make, how to overcome insecurity. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking of a number. And welcome Kim and Rosalind Dodd. Thank y'all so much for coming. I apologize, we're short on time, but Thank y'all for coming. Ladies, we will do we'll start sessions again in February, but if you're on my email list, I'm going to send out content. You're going to have more information, so we'll stay connected. But for now, I am thinking of a number for 1 to 75 for those women who have not gotten anything from me for the last 6 months. I'm thinking of a number from 1 through 75. I want two people. Well, I mean, those people, you put the number up. I'm giving away 2 giveaways. So type it in. All right. Actually, Roz, 7 was one of them. So Roz won a book. Okay. Okay. Ain't nobody else gonna say nothing. 7, 60, 21. Yay. Oh yeah. Okay. Roz. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? I got 60 and 21. Anybody else? Shannon, you ain't put nothing. What's up, girl?
I got a book from you
Who?
out of Kenya. It's Kenya.
You already got a book. You so honest. Oh,
You
Shannon.
were.
Say what? So we going between 60 and 21. Shannon, what you gonna put, girl? Pick a number. 1 to 75. Pick a number. 1 to 75. Come on, girl. I got another class coming up. 45. Actually, Joyce won. It was 59. So Joyce and Roz won. So good for y'all. I'm so proud of y'all. Woo! So look, y'all, I gotta pray y'all. I got another class at 6:30. Father, we thank you for each and every woman that's on this call. We love you. Thank you for Pastor Barbie. I pray that every woman has gotten some more insight about her husband, future husband, son, brother, cousin, whoever. But Lord, we just thank you and pray for each and every one to have a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year. And we will not be embarrassed in our marriages. We will fight the good fight of faith and do what you called us to do. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And ladies, you all will